Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to another BRAP rant. It's me, your host, Enrique, and this is really an impromptu rant, just really based on something that I've seen more frequently on Twitter, in gaming forums, um, something that I've seen at a time when people should be happy seem to be getting angry. And it doesn't make any sense to me. It really doesn't. And it's getting old. It's getting old. And not only is it getting old, but it's actually getting to a point now where the behavior of certain fanboys in a certain community, and it's not everyone in the Xbox community. It's not everyone in that community. But there's a very toxic element within the Xbox community that I got to call out. And you may be saying, well, who the fuck are you to call them out? Well, I'll answer that question. I'm somebody who has been gaming on the Xbox platform since 2001. 2001. 16 years ago. I went out, put down my money for the OG Xbox. And that bitch was big, let me tell you. That was a big console. And you know what? The media would say, hey, Xbox just released its console. It's a big console. It's like a VHS player. It's pretty big. And it was. At the time, compared to the GameCube and the PlayStation 2, it was big. It had a big controller, the Duke. The Duke was like a fucking frying pan with buttons. And the media talked about that. The difference is many of us at the time that were new to the Xbox, quote unquote, Xbox community, we weren't getting triggered. We weren't crying media bias. And you want to know why? Because we were happy with our purchase. Because we didn't have some kind of personal vendetta against Sony. We were gamers. We were excited about what Microsoft was bringing to the table. And look, we all know about the troubles that Microsoft has had. Look, this hasn't been their best console gen. But part of being a mature person is having the ability to self-reflect and say, you know what? Yeah, this thing that I bought may not be perfect, but god damn it, I enjoy it. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters. I can't I can't even begin to tell you how ridiculous some of this stuff is. You know, I do. My wife's not a gamer by any stretch of the imagination, and I show her these things, and she laughs. She laughs. She's like, "This has got to be ridiculous." With all the bullshit in the world going on, with all the real problems that people have, drug addiction, broken families, poverty, disease. You guys are fucking crying about a piece of plastic. And it takes away from the idea of what gaming is supposed to be all about. But I got to be honest with you. This crying, these media conspiracies, out of control. Out of control. You know, and it's getting to the point now, and I say this because I'm someone that um, was part of the, I guess if you want to call it, I never really associated myself with a community per se. I always, try to look at myself as someone who enjoys video games. You know, primarily for 16 years, I have primarily gamed on the Xbox game console, except for this past year where I've primarily been gaming on the PlayStation 4 because the PlayStation 4 has provided me with content that I can't get on the Xbox One right now. And that's not to say that my Xbox One sucks. I still enjoyed it. I just played Edith Finch on the Xbox One. I enjoyed that game. It was a good game. I actually just went out and instead of getting, I was going to get the Xbox One X, but there's not any plans for me to buy a 4K TV. And after rethinking this again, I thought there was a better value option in me just picking up the Xbox One S. So I traded my OG Xbox One day one console in for the Xbox One S. And guess what? When I decide to get a 4K TV, I'll have the S. And I'll either keep the S or trade it up or upgrade for the Xbox One X. But the Xbox One S is nice because it still offers HDR and has an UHD Blu-ray player. But the point... Hey, what's going on, Nate? Nate's in the live chat. So Nate brings up a great point. The reality is sometimes you don't enjoy it. The ability to accept honest opinions is an issue. And that's the thing. Like somebody who is who's grounded, who's mature enough, understands that. And it goes back to my earlier point where I was saying, you know, somebody who gets it, who understands what gaming is all about, is able to self-reflect and say, yeah, again, this thing might not be perfect, but I like it anyway. And that's all that matters. This crying over media bias. You know, the media, it's funny. The media doesn't give a fuck about which console ultimately wins. They don't care. I can't even tell you how many members of the media that I've talked to on DM on Twitter, and I've asked them point blank, is there a bias? And a lot of the times they laugh. I shouldn't say a lot. All the times they kind of laugh. They do, and their response is there, and the response is always this with them. And I say, is there an actual media bias against Xbox? They say, fuck no. They say, we don't care, and that's usually followed by the however. They are very aware of the fact that if you say anything that's perceived to be negative towards Xbox, however true that might be, that community, certain members of that community tend to flip out. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that all members of the Xbox community are like this, because they're not. Because I know a lot of guys that, like me, have been on the platform for 16 years and don't get wrapped up in that bullshit. We know. Hey, Jimbo, welcome to BRAP, man. Thank you for joining us. Jimbo's a first-time viewer. Hey, remember to hit that like button and subscribe as well. But it's mind-blowing to me. It's mind-blowing. And what they don't realize is these people who scream media bias, who cry like children because, God forbid, someone writes an opinion piece and they get their fucking panties in a bunch, you guys are part of the problem. You guys are giving the community a black eye. You guys don't truly and fully appreciate what gaming's all about. And look, if I'm coming out swinging a little bit, or maybe I sound a little more, I don't know, fired up than I usually do, it's because enough's enough. This shit is stupid. It is so stupid. Now I see people referring to media sites as fake news. So now it's like they're almost politicizing game consoles. Get the fuck out of here. It's a fucking toy. It's a piece of plastic. There's so much more other things out there in the world that matter more than plastic. And why do you care so much what ABC.com says about your plastic box of choice? Does it impact you in any way personally? No. Does it cause you to enjoy your console any less? No. And if it does, if you have some sense of inadequacy or insecurity, which many of you do who are responding this way, and that's, look, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. That is as plain as day to see that that's why these folks are getting triggered. Big shout out to Jeff from SDGC. Jeff says people need to understand you aren't what you consume. And I agree. Jeff, you are a gamer. You are a gamer. You love gaming. Everybody on the SDGC podcast loves gaming. They're one of my favorite podcasts to listen to. And you know what? You want to know why? Because they have such a genuine appreciation and passion for gaming. And all of them are multi-console owners. Now, no one's to say that you can't have a preference. We all have preferences. And honestly, my preferences do change. Based on which console I have is giving me the kind of games or content that I want to play or that grab my attention. That's healthy. That's normal. I can never imagine being a gamer and saying, you know what? I'm going to die on this hill. I'm a PlayStation 4 fan, and I'm only gonna play PlayStation 4 games because I bleed blue, or only an Xbox fan. I bleed green. As a gamer, somebody who's been gaming for 3 decades, why in the hell would I ever want to limit my gaming experiences to some kind of false loyalty to a company that doesn't even care about me? Jeff says my Switch and PS4 and Xbox One sit beside each other and nothing blows up. Jeff, you're right again. Jeff in the live chat says, unless you're the author or creator or something, you really have no business taking criticism of it personally. And he's absolutely right. And that's what I was going to say. Unless you work for Microsoft, if you work for Sony, if you work for Nintendo, you should not take any of this stuff personally. But it's getting so ridiculous. It's funny, I was called a troll the other day because I said there's no such thing as media bias. Look, the media covers news stories. The media provides feature articles. If a product releases and is not up to par to its competition, you expect the media to just turn a blind eye and praise what you love so that it makes you feel better? If you need the media, if you need someone else to validate you as a person or validate your purchase, you've got a problem. You have a big problem. Fall Off Duty says in the live chat, the media destroyed PlayStation 3. And I say this all the time. It's funny, and I use that example a lot. There's no media bias. Go back to last console gen. And sometimes it makes me wonder, like, are you guys, the guys are getting triggered the most? Are you guys new to gaming? Seriously, this is a real question that I have. Are you new to gaming? Because you act like you are. Because if you go back to last console gen, the media crucified PlayStation and Sony, crucified them. And it was the same thing I heard from Sony fanboys. The media is biased against Sony. Why? Why was the media writing articles that maybe didn't paint Sony in the best light? Because Sony dropped the ball. Sony tried to shove down a $600 console down our throats and then tell us that we would get a second job to buy that console. They said this. Their games, their multi-plat games, their platform, while it was more powerful than the Xbox 360, was also more difficult to develop for. And they were called out for that. They were called out for that, people. And when Digital Foundry would run games, and they would do, the multiplayer, the, platform A versus platform B, which one performs better? Which one has the better version of the multiplat? Last generation, who do you think won? The Xbox 360. And many of the same media people who are writing those articles are still writing articles today. And I guess for me, what fires me up is that I was there in the beginning, and not that I'm some OG, Xbox community member, but I remember what it was like. I remember how excited we were. And we got attacked by fanboys. I was a moderator on the GameSpot community forums for Xbox. And I would interact with guys like Greg Kasavin. I would interact with some of the other guys that were, writing reviews on that forum. We would, because the moderators had a DM that we could interact with, the GameSpot employees. And those guys just cared about games. They didn't care about what console you owned. They cared about games. So Mad Max, you say that it's a clickbait article to bring in ad revenue. Well, yeah, it's a business. But why does clickbait affect anyone? Read the article, make a decision. It's marketing. Come on, people, it's marketing. There's an article going out there right now that just came out. That's actually a pretty good article. Give me a sec here. I just need to pull this up. I think I still have it. Or maybe I don't. The Verge just put out an article, and I want to say it was entitled. Let me a sec here. Here we go. So The Verge put out an article, and it's entitled "The Xbox One X Probably Isn't For You." And people lost their minds. One guy said, "Nah, this pile of shit was written today." One guy said The Verge has Sony's console so far up their ass they can't eat McDonald's anymore. Even more ironic, he said the whiny bias bitches can eat crow. Okay. How ironic is that? You're calling media whiny bitches, but yet you're complaining about the title of an article without actually reading it, without understanding that, yeah, these articles or these companies, these websites have to generate revenue, have to generate traffic. And guess what? They're playing on your emotions. And you know why they're doing that? Because the cat's out of the bag. And this is so unfortunate. So unfortunate that I've had these conversations with people in the industry, in the gaming industry, where there's certain fanboys within the Xbox community that are giving the greater Xbox community a bad reputation. And that's sad, because there's some really great gamers that support Xbox that aren't unstable or insecure fanboys. Yeah. Jeff in the live chat says, talk to developers. None of them are skipping Xbox because of the Verge article. None of them are. And if you read that Verge article, it's actually a pretty good article. It brings up some valid points. And I guarantee you, if the article was titled PS4 Pro may not be for you, you guys would be fucking in the streets celebrating. It's funny how people call out media bias, but in reality, they're actually extremely biased themselves. Kind of the whore calling the prostitute easy. You know, I actually I actually was told one time that I wasn't Xbox enough because at the time I wasn't wearing remember the Scorpio M's on Twitter. And it had nothing to do with me not wearing wearing that Scorpion M had nothing to do with being Xbox enough. And even that idea or the accusation, this came from a grown man, by the way, even more pathetic. Even even that, me not putting an M on my Twitter handle didn't mean I wasn't Xbox enough. That concept in itself is so ridiculous. Think about that. Bought my console, OG Xbox, in 2001. 16 years into it. But I'm not Xbox enough. Other people aren't Xbox enough because they don't rock an M. Ridiculous. But this is the kind of toxicity that we've seen, and it's got to stop. And it's unfortunate because the thing the thing that really is baffling to me is that if you're a gamer and you love the industry and you love this hobby, you don't hate other boxes that provide the same types of experiences that you're getting solely based on brand. Think about how fucking stupid that idea is. And I'm sorry, like, you know what? I know there's gonna be a lot of people that don't like this video, and that's fine. But it's got to be said, you know. And um, Tony Polanco, um, who who we've had on the show, said that the industry's catching on. And I even said to Tony today, I said, you know what? Had you said that 2 months ago, I would have said you were exaggerating. But just on conversations I've had with game developers, um, with media types, it's this reputation now of the Xbox community. And it's sad because I remember the Xbox community as being comprised of a group of hardcore gamers that just loved gaming, that were excited about what Microsoft is doing. And if we look, we got hate from fanboys, but we didn't pay any attention to it because we didn't care. Because so long as we liked what we were getting and we were enjoying our consoles, that's all that mattered. And if you guys think that being loyal or, this ride or die mentality of a corporation is going to help you get the best product you deserve as a consumer, you're kidding yourself. I've said this a million times on this podcast. Fanboyism is anti-consumer behavior, and you're doing more harm than good. If you look, we should all, as someone who's been gaming on Xbox for 16 years, and look, I'm not getting a Scorpio right away. It doesn't mean that I think the console sucks. No, I'm not getting it because I don't see the value in it right now. I don't have a 4K TV, so it doesn't make sense for me to get one right now. But even saying that, I've said it to people. I've seen people get triggered when I've made that comment, and I'm thinking to myself, how does that affect you? If you're excited about the console, if you're excited about Scorpio, that's all that matters. Who cares what the media says? Who cares what The Verge said? But this whole idea of media conspiracy, media bias only makes you look like a fool because you know what? It's not true. I dare any one of you to reach out to media, have an open, honest conversation with them. Talk to them about gaming, and you'll hear their passion about gaming. You'll hear them talk about their favorite Xbox games. You'll hear them talk about their favorite PlayStation games. You know, Ryan McCaffrey, who we've had on the show, great guy. He gets so much heat. But I got respect for Ryan because he is a consumer. He is a gamer that loves gaming. And it's clear he loves what he does because he writes, he's involved in gaming journalism. He started his career off at OXM, the official Xbox magazine, when it was just launching off the ground. And he gets so much heat for offering open criticism or because he doesn't champion the product. Why the fuck do you need a grown man to champion your purchase or to champion your product? Think about that. If you like your Xbox, that's all that matters. That's all that matters. But this nonsense of, oh, media bias and crying like little kids, seriously, it's enough. It's not what video gaming is all about. If you allow people to influence you in that manner or to get you that rattled over a piece of plastic that has circuits and wires and a disk drive, you got problems. You got some serious problems. And if I'm coming across harsh about this, it's because I'm passionate about gaming. I love gaming. Been doing it for a long time. I mean, I just, in a time where people should be, and there's a lot of people that are excited about the Scorpio, and that's great. But then I see people focused on the wrong things. Oh, here's the media. They're bashing Xbox One Scorpio. They're not trying to give it a chance. I'm telling you guys, I can say this with 110% certainty. The media doesn't give a fuck. They don't care. The issue is that a lot of these people that are freaking out, it goes back to what I said. A mature and balanced individual, a consumer, somebody who's like capable of self-reflection doesn't get triggered by stuff like this. They understand that their personal enjoyment at the end of the day is what matters, not validation or not the need to this need to feel like you're part of a community, that you're part of something. If you feel the need to be part of something that's tied into a plastic box to give you validation as an individual, you got problems. And that's just keeping it real. Because outside of gaming, there's a greater sense of community that exists. Eric Jackson, E, what's up, man? E says, I'm here to feel validated. Well, E, you've come to the right place. I'm just tired of it because look, I was there day one when the Xbox launched. And many of us, a lot of people who were gaming the Xbox, we weren't like this. It's like and look, and look, I just want to say something. Not everyone in the Xbox community today is like this, but I'm seeing a group of people that are soft, that have become sissies. And look, I'm just gonna call it how it is. If you get triggered over a piece of plastic, you're a sissy. I'm sorry. Considering all the things out there in the world right now going on, geez, it must be fucking convenient to get triggered and upset over a plastic box. Instead of celebrating, there's all this negative energy focused on bullshit. Media bias. Same shit I heard last console generation from Sony fanboys. And look, let's face it. A lot of the perceived negative coverage is because Microsoft fucked up this generation. Just like Sony did last generation. Just like Nintendo did with the Wii U. And if you're not working for Microsoft, if you're not gainfully employed by Microsoft, you shouldn't care. The only thing you should care about is that they are giving you a product that you're happy with. And I keep telling people this, if you're not happy with the product you're getting, say something about it. Fuck what everyone else says in the community. If people are going to stop talking to you because you're critical about a plastic box, fuck them. They're not really genuinely invested in you as a person anyway. I mean, think about how crazy that is. Oh, I'm going to like you so long as you continue to support this plastic box. The minute you say something, I don't know, we can't be friends anymore. What kind of fucking crazy shit is that? What is wrong with people? I mean, do we see people who drink Ovaltine and people who drink Nestle Quick arguing like this? You don't. Yeah, Eric says you're not down, bro. Yeah, that whole argument, you're not down. You know what? Yeah, I'm not down to invest in something I'm not happy with. Sorry, my bad. I mean, think about how irrational that is. Oh, you're not down because you're not supporting something, even though if you're unhappy with it. Really? That makes a lot of sense. That makes total sense. I mean, this whole you're not down. And Eric just mentioned that in live chat. And Nate says, brah, Nabisco versus Whole Foods. You ain't ready. That read it is crunk. I mean, but it's true. I mean, I want you to think about this, guys. If someone says to you, because you bring up something you're not happy about with whatever console choice you play on, if they say to you, oh, well, you're not down. What the fuck is that about? You're not down? No, motherfucker, I'm down as a consumer to have the best experience that I want to have. That's what I'm down for. I'm down for myself, my own experience. I put money on this. You didn't. That's why there's certain podcasts out there that I cannot stand. One, because they're fucking ignorant as shit. Two, I even doubt if they're even real gamers. Hey, Eric, you don't know about the Reebok versus British Knights. You don't know about that, man. I tell you. And it's funny. The Verge article. Someone called that article and said it was shit. And I asked them, well, why was it shit? No response. No response. I'm not going to call that person out by name, but they won't respond because that person can't offer a rational argument. People, be more concerned with your own happiness versus what the media is saying. I mean, seriously. I mean, it's I guess just me as an individual, I just don't have patience or the understanding for people who are weak. And to me, that's just you're just weak. That's just weak. And that's fine. I'm here. Look, when I started this podcast, um, I did it because I was going to be real about stuff. If I wasn't happy, look, like I said, I this whole are you down and you got to defend no matter what? It's bullshit. It's anti-consumer behavior. In the long run, it's going to do more harm than good for you because gaming is not a cheap hobby. It's an expensive hobby. I've gone through 2 Xbox consoles this generation, 2 consoles in 4 years from Microsoft. The first one retailed at $499 US. The second one that I just got, the Xbox One S Madden bundle, which by the way is a sexy looking console. I've seen it in person, but when you hold it, it's like it's different. It's different. I mean, it's a nice. I tell you what, I give Microsoft props on designing a good looking console, and the controller is really good. I mean, I when I picked it up and I held it, I can immediately tell the difference. It fits, and as crazy as it sounds, I always thought that the Microsoft controller was the best controller of this console gen. And that was and I even said that about the Xbox One launch controller. The Xbox One S controller is really nice. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, the first one was good. This one's even better. But think about that. So 2 consoles. That's $280 for the Xbox One S bundle. So I'm looking at $780, $800 in console hardware that I've invested in Microsoft. And let me tell you something. It isn't so much of the money factor as it is the investment and the investment in time. And so you better believe, considering the investment that I made, if Microsoft isn't delivering the goods, if they aren't giving me the kind of content that I want, I'm going to say something. I'm going to exercise my right as a consumer and say, hey, you know what? I'm not happy. Because that's the only way they are going to improve. Corporations will become or will be complacent, can get complacent. We've seen this. We've seen this in the gaming industry. We saw it with Sony last console generation. Nobody wants us complacent Sony. This week, earlier in the week, on BRAP, a regular BRAP podcast, which goes live 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesdays, Mr. Negative, John, he said the same thing. We don't want a complacent Sony. And he even pointed out some of what he said were anti-consumer tactics that Sony's using right now. And he talked about crossplay. And he's been very vocal about it. And he's someone that has primarily gamed on the PlayStation. But he's a consumer. He's a gamer. He gets it. He understands that his happiness and what benefits the consumer ultimately is what's best. Jeff in the live chat says Sony's been real shitty lately. Yeah, we talk about Jim Ryan. his comments on crossplay. Sony, in that regard, has not been I think and I understand the business, and we debated this on BRAP, with B Money. I understand the business side of it. I understand that. Look, Sony's a market leader. They wanted to do crossplay last year. Microsoft didn't want to do it. Now the roles are reversed. I get that. But the reasons that Jim Ryan gave have been ridiculous. And even his comments about indie games. And that's the thing. These companies don't do things perfect. I mean, as good a job as Sony has done with the PlayStation 4, there's certain areas of improvement they can work on. We don't have a digital refund policy with them. Xbox does. We don't have crossplay. Microsoft does. Their download speeds to download content is still very slow. And my opinion, I think PS Now, I'd rather see backwards compatibility on PlayStation. My opinion. It's just look, like I said, guys, it's just the fanboy shit's just got to stop. It just it just and I was talking to Eric about this earlier today. Look, I mean, everyone's waited for this console, the Scorpio, for such a long time, but people, it's the most powerful console, and it's baffling to me because even with the power and people wanting the power and getting getting the kind of console that they didn't get when they bought the Xbox One, the original Xbox One, and Microsoft giving them a look, by all stretch of the imagination, a very impressive piece of hardware for $500. People are focused on media bullshit, media bias. When at the end of the day, if you're happy with Scorpio, fuck it, who cares? But again, like I said, the media bias stuff, it's not out there. It's a conspiracy. And it's a waste of time. I guarantee you, mark my words. Remember when Digital Foundry was Sony Foundry or Pony Foundry, this console gen? You watch what's going to happen. I'm willing to bet that most of the multiplats that are going to be coming out later in the year are going to be running best on the Xbox One X. And this is the same website, Digital Foundry, and they're gonna come out and say this. I mean, they already Richard Ledbetter wrote an article recently. Boy, Richard Ledbetter, he loves his 60 frames a second. That dude he loves it. He gets excited. You can hear it in his voice. So, look, it's just Digital Foundry, like I was saying, Digital Foundry. I'm sorry, I'm kind of trying to read the comments at the same time while I'm doing this. But Digital Foundry was for a long time biased, anti-Microsoft. I mean, I actually see it from the fanboys all the time. And this is the same Digital Foundry that was apparently anti-Microsoft for much of this console gen. That wouldn't give them a break. That where people said, "Oh, if this was Sony, oh my God, if this was Sony, well, you know what would happen? They turn a blind eye and they look the other way." This is the same Digital Foundry that's going to go out there and say the best version of ABC game runs best on the Xbox One X. There's proof out there, people, that the media isn't, that there's not some conspiracy or anti-MS agenda, Microsoft agenda. Hey, what's up, Ed? Ed comments in the chat. Good to see you, man. There's not this agenda out there, people. I mean, the proof's out there. The proof is out there. Kotaku recently called out Sony for their shitty download speeds when downloading digital content. We know about the crossplay. Sony's been called out by the media for not allowing crossplay features. I mean, if you guys, it's funny, Greg Miller and Colin Moriarty got a lot of heat by Xbox fanboys. People would say, "Oh, when they're IG, oh, they're pro Sony. They don't like Microsoft. Oh, they don't like Xbox." If you go back and they have since left IGN and Colin's actually they started Kind of Funny, but Colin's actually no longer there. That's another story. But the PlayStation 4 reveal event, they were very critical. And all the Xbox fanboys call these guys or like hate these guys with just venom, saying they're biased. They hate Microsoft. Really? Go back and listen to their podcast for the PlayStation 4 Pro reveal. What do they say? They panned the PlayStation 4 Pro reveal. Colin Moriarty was like, "This is dumb. This is stupid. It was boring. Why is Sony doing this? They don't need to do this." The media was biased. You wouldn't hear those things. You wouldn't hear that. If the media was biased, they would never call out Sony when Sony does things that aren't up to par. But look, they're having the better generation. That's a fact. It doesn't mean that your Xbox sucks. It doesn't mean you should enjoy your Xbox any less. That fact alone shouldn't impact you if you're having fun playing on your Xbox console. And if it does, then maybe you should have an honest conversation with yourself. Maybe you're not happy with your Xbox One. Maybe you're not happy with your PlayStation 4. And if you're not, that's okay. All Day Digital in the chat says, calling out companies for their fuck ups is not bias. I agree with that, but people do. People think it's biased. And look, one console's done a better job. One company's done a better job. Neither one is perfect. I've always argued Microsoft is doing a much better job in terms of features. Sony fucked up by not allowing EA access. Microsoft is hurting in the first party department right now in their studios, internal studios. Neither company's perfect, but it's okay to point those things out. I do. I look at those things because I own those consoles. I put a lot of fucking money into these games, these game consoles. I want the best experience. And I don't care who gives it to me because you know what? Gaming is about entertainment. Louis Vuitton could drop a game console right now. And that shit better be gold. Better have that. No, it should be brown and have the iconic Louis Vuitton logo designs on it, like the purses. That sounds so ridiculous. But hear me out. Louis Vuitton, if Louis Vuitton came out with a console and they had a must-have killer app, great exclusive, strong third-party support, a robust online system, hey, you know what? I might have to check them out. If they're putting out good content, if they're getting good third-party support, if they're priced competitively, I'm not going to lie. I might have to check them out because I'm a gamer, because I want to play games. I don't care where I play them. I want to play games. And that's what this is all about. If you're focused on media bias, which is a conspiracy theory at best, you don't get what gaming's all about. You're in it for the wrong reasons. You're in it to be part of something instead of being in it to experience something. You know, I really hope that, because like I said, I bought an Xbox in 2001. Um, and I hate to see the community be stereotyped because of a few bad apples, but that's what's happening. I hate to see that. Considering all the hard work Microsoft's put into building Xbox as a brand, but to have that kind of community or certain members of the community who don't who are focused on the wrong things, who are focused on conspiracy theories, instead of demanding maybe more first party content from Microsoft, who instead of maybe be taking all that energy and demanding more games, new gaming experiences. It's a shame that's the stereotype um, that's being painted now in that community. And from someone who kind of, I guess, the last 16 years saw the growth of that community and the hard work that Microsoft put into the Xbox brand, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. And I hope that a lot of people who associate themselves with that community will stand up against that stuff and focus on what matters the most. Is Microsoft giving us the best experience that we can have in terms of gaming? And it's okay to ask that question. It's okay to question that. You should. It's your money. Look, that's all I got today, people. That's all I got. But this shit's got to stop. It's so counterproductive. It really is. And I've been seeing it for a long time. And unfortunately, I'm not going to call these podcasts out by names, but unfortunately, there's a lot of podcasts out there that are perpetuating this bullshit, this nonsense of media bias, of this persecution complex that's out there. This is fucking video games. This isn't life or death. So that's all I got to say. That's all I got to say. And I said this to Eric the other day. I've been wanting to get this off my chest for a long time. So, um, Chris Jones. Yeah, that's not entirely true. And by the way, the whole Xbox has no games. I mean, it has games. I think that if you're going to say that, you need to be a little more. Um, you need to kind of drill down a little bit with that. If you said first party content, I would agree with that, and that's a concern. Anyhow, well, look, everyone. I want to thank everyone that jumped into the live chat. There were some new people that I haven't seen in the live chat. I just want to say thank you guys for popping in. And look, play those fucking video games. Play those games. That's what it's all about. Seriously, that's what it's all about. Supporting the industry, wanting, we should want good content. We should want features and things that benefits us as consumers and gamers. And that's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. So, on that note, again, big shout out to everyone in the live chat. Thank you all for popping in and listening to my rant. Basement Radio Arcade Podcast. We will not be live this Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're off this week, kind of a vacation week for us. But we'll be back the following week. We actually may have, excuse me, we actually may have an industry guest from Ubisoft joining us that following week when we come back. So, but in the meantime, hey, hit that like button, subscribe, tell your friends, family about us. Look, we're just gamers here at BRAP. We like to game. We like to have fun. We don't get involved in all that console wars nonsense. So, Again, remember to hit that like button and subscribe as well if you haven't done so. So, other than that, I'm out, and hope everyone enjoys their Friday, the rest of their weekend. Play some games. There's some great content out right now. August has been a great month for gamers, by the way. A lot of good stuff that's dropped this month. Madden came out this week. We had also Uncharted Lost Legacy. Yakuza Kiwami's coming out end of the month. Absolver's coming out. So there's definitely a lot of great content. Mario Rabbids, I think, drops next Tuesday. So a lot of great content for August. And look, we should be celebrating this year of 2017. This has been a great year for gamers. So many great games out there. So I would encourage you to, if you haven't played games like Edith Finch, definitely check that out. Great game, great indie game. Hey, if you have the means, right? If you have the means to buy another console, I would highly recommend you do, because there's great content on both platforms. So, or all platforms, I should say, right now. Nintendo's even firing at all cylinders, which is great. I mean, Breath of the Wild's a fucking fantastic game, and Mario Kart 8 is a lot of fun. So, on that note, I'm out. Everyone, enjoy your weekend. Remember to video game or game on and have fun and do all that other stuff. And again, we are off next week, but we'll be back the week after, which is Labor Day week. And I'm out. Peace.